Hello all of you, welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to study Beehive book, chapter 1st, poem The Road Not Taken. First of all, we will see about the poem. This well-known poem is about making choices and the choices that shapes us. Robert Frost is an American poet who writes simply but insightfully about common, ordinary experiences. This poem is written by Robert Frost. He was an American poet. In this poem, The Road Not Taken, the road symbolizes our life. The poet says that the path that we don't choose in our life is the road not taken. He describes his feelings about the choice that he had left in the past. The path which we have chosen decide our future or destination. The important message that the poet wants to give, it means Mr. Robert Frost wants to give, is that the choice that we make has an impact on our future. And if we make a wrong choice, we regret it, but cannot go back on it. We must be wise while making choices. Now we will start our first stanza. Two roads diverge in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not trouble both. And we one troubler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it went in the undergrowth. Diverged means separated and took a different direction, and here yellow wood means a forest with composing leaves, and undergrowth means dense growth of plants, and bushes means the forest. Once the poet was walking down a road, and then there was a diversion. There were two different paths, and he had to choose one out of them. The poet says that as he was one person, he could travel on one road only. He had to choose one out of these two roads. Yellow wood means a forest with leaves which are wearing out and they have turned yellow in color. The season of autumn, it represents a world have been living for many years. They represent people who are colder than the looked at the path every carefully as far as he could see it before taking the path. He wanted to know how it was. Was it suitable for him or no? He was able to see the path till from where it covered, after which it was covered with trees and was hidden. It happens in our life also. When we have choices, we have alternatives, but we have to choose only one out of them. Which one is right? We take time to think about the pros and cons, whether it is suitable for us or not, and only then we take a decision on what path we should choose. Now we will see the second stanza. Then took the other just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was crazy and wanted bare, though as for what the passing there had warned them really about the same. Here fair means as good as the other one, claim means better option, and grassy means unused, wanted bare means had not been used. Okay. The poet kept on looking at one path for a long time to check if it is the right path for him or not, and then he decided and started walking on another path because he felt that the both paths were equally good. He says just as far, so he felt that both paths were equally good and started walking on one of them. He adds that maybe he felt that the path was better for him, so he chooses it as it had grace on it, which means that it was unused. Not many people had walked on this path earlier. That's why this path was grassy and wanted wear, means that it was not walked over by many people. After he walked on the path for some distance, he realized that both the paths had been worn out the same way. Both the paths were similar and worn out. Even in our life also, we take any path or option, but all of them have the same benefits, disadvantages, problems, challenges, and we must face them. We think that we are choosing a better option, but it is not that way. Now we will see a next stanza. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day, yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I should ever come back. Here the word trodden means walk over. In this stanza, the poet says that both the paths were similar. That morning both had leaves on them, and no one had stepped on them, as they were still green in color. He decided that day he would take one path and keep the other path for another day, although he knew that one way leads on to another way. He knew that he could not go back on the choice that he had made. Similarly, even in our life, once we choose an option, we must keep on moving ahead with that option, and we never get a chance to come back and take the another option that we had left earlier. Now here we will see fourth and the last stanza. I shall be travelling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence, two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less troubled why, and that has made all the difference. Here the word sigh means deep breath, and hence means here in the future. Now we will talk about a stanza. He says that in the future he will take a deep breath and say that once upon a time he had reached such a point in life that there were two options for him, and he traveled on that road which had been traveled upon by lesser number of people. That decision he decided for his future. Similarly, in future, when you grow up, then you will say that once upon a time when you were young, you had two options. The choice that you made or you thought, you became of it. This is a very strong message for all the students that you should be wise and be careful while making choices out of the options that you have in your life, because your future depends on the choice that you make today. In this poem, Mr. Robert Frost told that always we have a two choice and there is a two options, and we have to take right decision in our life also to become a successful person. Now we will discuss about rhyme scheme in this poem. In our first stanza, rhyme scheme will come A B A A B. Okay. In the second stanza, our rhyme scheme will come A B A A B. In our third stanza, rhyme scheme will come A B A A B. In our fourth stanza, the rhyme scheme will come A B A A B. So in this poem, our rhyme scheme will come A B A A B. Now here we will talk about a symbolism. Symbolism means the use of symbol to represent things. Here wood is represented as a forest here, and the two roads which represents two or more choices in our life. Okay. Now we will talk about anaphora. Anaphora means the repetition of a word or expression at the start of two or more consecutive lines. In the first para, you can see second line, third line, and the fourth line. So word and is repeated, so here our anaphora will come. Now we will talk about alliteration. Alliteration means the use of the same letter or sound at the beginning of words that are close together. Wanted where W sound is repeating here, and here that first four F sound is repeating here, and here thou that TS sound is repeating here. Now we will talk about a repetition. Is word is repeated in two times, okay, and two roads diverge in a wood. This sentence is repeated in stanzas 1 and 4th. I hope all of you understood this poem and the rhyme scheme in a better way. Okay, bye, then see you in the next video.